We need to reduce the work of a doctor and any healthcare worker so that they can treat more patients. And if AI is used by that, or if robots are used for that, and robotic surgeries can bridge the distances, somebody sitting in a metro can treat through a robot somebody in a village with all the infrastructure, right? I think it will make a lot of sense.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today it is an honor and a pleasure for me to introduce you all to this very particular session where we are going to know more about entrepreneurship in healthcare. My name is Harsh and I'm going to moderate this session for all of you, wherein I'm going to introduce you all about session and perhaps the person who is going to interact and address all of us. First of all, I request you to kindly acknowledge and welcome the presence of our esteemed guest, and he is very dynamic, very interesting, and very bold personality, none other than Dr. Gaurav Thukral, who is here with us. I would like to request all the person, those who are watching this session on YouTube, to kindly upload in the comment section and welcome the presence of our guest. Dr. Gaurav is Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer at Healthcare at Home India Private Limited. He is also a founder member of Healthcare at Home, of a pioneer in establishing home-based specialty critical care in India. He has 20 years of cumulative clinical and management experience. Dr. Gaurav is also the chairman of Technical Community for Home Healthcare Accreditations for Quality and Accreditations Institute and member of FICCI Health Insurance Community. So, first of all, sir, I welcome you to in this session. Thank you so much for joining and agreeing to share your thoughts with us. We are extremely very happy to have you.
Thank you, Harsh. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much, sir. It's our pleasure. Sir, moving to the topic of today's session, which we have chosen is the emergency of entrepreneurship in health sector. Sir, my first question to you is: healthcare has become one of the India's largest sector, both in terms of revenue and employment. Healthcare compromises health hospitals, medical devices, clinical trials, outsourcing, telemedicine, medical tourism, health insurance, and medical equipment. The Indian healthcare sector is growing at the brisk pace due to its strengthening coverage services and increasing expenditure by public as well as private players. Then why still India ranks 145th among 195 countries in terms of quality and accessibility of healthcare, behind its neighbor like China, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Bhutan, according to recent study?
I think our biggest problem is our population itself, right? Even a very developed country like USA is struggling to give universal health coverage. Leave aside a country where the doctor to nurse patient ratios, doctor to patient ratios, doctor or patient to hospital ratios are heavily skewed. And what is happening is that as we are creating more doctors, nursing, healthcare provider, hospitals, population or grow hota chala ja raha hai, right? But at the same time, Harsh, you have to remember that we are a country with the largest and strongest penetration of mobile phones. In all the Western countries, what happened was first landlines happened. लैंडलाइन घर घर पहुंचा, उसके बाद लोगों ने मोबाइल पे ट्रांसफर करना शुरू किया. लेकिन हमारे यहाँ पे लैंडलाइन पहुंचा ही नहीं. And then the penetration of mobile and internet was humongous. We are the biggest consumer of internet in the world, right? So what we have to do is that we will have to maybe dismantle or disrupt the traditional methods of care delivery, and that's where home health care and out of hospital care comes, right? When you will create every bed in the home into a hospital, you will multiply the beds into millions. When you will use teleconsultation and telemedicine, one nurse and one doctor will be able to treat many patients in a day at the same time, rather than spending one nurse in one home or one nurse by one bedside, right? By trying this, you'll be further able to strengthen that the job of the doctor can be taken up by a nurse, job of a nurse can be taken by a nursing assistant, and the family also. So if we disrupt these things, like for example, there is this concept of physician assistant who does most of the work which the doctor does, so that the doctor can treat more patients. Similarly, a nurse can become a nurse practitioner, so that the job which a nurse does gets to this much rather than this much, and a nurse can treat more patients. So if we take healthcare outside the traditional model of hospitals, if we upskill people, give them technology and the skill to treat more and more patients, I think we can leapfrog and fill this thing. So that's one. How do you build the infrastructure and how you build the supply side? On the other side, I think there has to be a parity, right? If we are saying ki Ayushman Bharat hai, and then there is a TPA or insurance which is for the people who can afford it, right? There is still a missing middle which has no insurance. A rickshaw wala, a driver, or a maid servant whose income is maybe somewhere around 15 to 20,000 a day are neither under Ayushman Bharat or nor they can afford an insurance, right? So if we talk that everybody's basic health cover of not less than maybe 3 lakh rupees will be filled by the government or any other payer, right? That's the second problem which will lead to quality of care. The third thing is regulation and accreditation. How do you measure quality? For example, in a city like Delhi, you have a Medanta, you have a Max, you have a Apollo, you have a Fortis. Now, you have to say कि CABG is done better in Medanta or CBG is done better in Max, that is bypass surgery. How do you get to know? You get to know कि कितने bypass हुए, उनमें से कितने successful हुए और कितने खराब हुए. But these numbers are not published anywhere. The outcomes are not published anywhere. So I believe that if we are able to disrupt with technology and out of hospital care, the infrastructure, the supply side, can upskill people to treat more patients and display outcomes. These three factors can definitely get us at the top slot in the world also.
All right, sir. I think you have given a very detailed overview, and I think the viewers, those who are listening this session, they will, of course, they are going to understand the reality. Sir, my next question to you is: AI and robotics are making advance across the healthcare industry, from genetic testing and robotic surgery to cancer research and data collection. In dermatology, AI is already used in practical terms, where it is used to detect skin cancers through an experimental mobile version of it by medical professionals. So, my question to you is how actually AI and robotics are transforming the healthcare?
So tell me, Harsh, can I ask you a question?
Sure, sir, please.
Would you like your father to be operated upon by a robot?
Sir, it's a quite difficult, but the thing is that if it is better option,
Yes or
then
no?
I will surely go for that.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Sir, it depends. Question.
You're hesitant, right? If I were to tell that there is the best surgeon in India versus a robot, whom will you choose?
Might be best
तुम कहोगे मैं 2 दिन तुम कहोगे सर मैं 2 दिन वेट कर लेता हूं लेकिन मैं सर्जन से कराऊंगा.
Correct.
सिमिलरली अगर मैं तुम्हें बोलूं कि तुम्हारी रिपोर्ट एक डॉक्टर नहीं पढ़ रहा है, एक एआई पढ़ रही है, किस पे ज्यादा भरोसा करोगे, मशीन पे कि डॉक्टर पे?
Depend on machine.
Okay, and what if the machine reads wrong? डॉक्टर को तो जाके बोल सकते हो कि सर आपने दवाई दी थी, गलत पढ़ाई, गलत आपने मेरी रिपोर्ट पढ़ी, गलत दवाई दे दी. मशीन को कहां पे बोलोगे?
Sir, I'm pretty sure if the machine is introduced in the healthcare, then it must have passed a certain testing, certain type of quality aggregation, then it might be implemented. I believe that the amount of data which a machine can handle, I think it is out of capacity of a human. The amount of what kind of data analytics a machine can do, I think it's difficult for a man to handle that much data and compare. So in this way, I can go for machine.
Great. So let me tell you my view on robotics and AI. I think this very much supplements what I was trying to tell you in my first answer. We need to reduce the work of a doctor and any healthcare worker so that they can treat more patients. And if AI is used by that, or if robots are used for that, and robotic surgeries can bridge the distances, somebody sitting in a metro can treat through a robot somebody in a village with all the infrastructure, right? I think it will make a lot of sense. But हो क्या रहा है that अगर कॉमन मैन की बात करूं तो कॉमन मैन को एज यू सेड कि यार मैं तो सर्जन से कराऊंगा, रोबोट पता नहीं गलती ना कर दे, राइट? And because you are an educated person, you will definitely say that AI can do better. But when I talk to medicos, they feel that at some stage AI will replace them, which is never going to happen. Because AI is enabler. It is powering the doctors. It is powering the healthcare workers. So I definitely believe that when the time to read a CT scan will become a fraction of a second, when the time to read I would say cancer, or as you said in dermatology, will become to a fraction of second, and the results will be available, the doctor will have much more time to treat the patient, which is his primary job. So definitely, this is going to be a big enabler and growth propeller in healthcare.
All right, sir. Again, it was a quite insightful answer from your side. Sir, my next question to you is the healthcare industry remains one of the biggest opportunities for entrepreneurs and investors. Innovative startups are utilizing new technologies to offer solutions that improve quality, lower cost, and streamline access to healthcare services. Sir, how do you see the future of entrepreneurship in India, especially in healthcare, in next 10 years?
I see there is a great demand. As I said, the traditional methods have to be disrupted, right? That whole thing that कुछ भी होगा, हॉस्पिटल के अंदर जाना है, फिर वहां रह के आना है, हॉस्पिटल तो है ही नहीं, बेड्स ही नहीं है. So how will you do? So one, teleconsultations or telemedicine. That is going to be a very big disruptor because now government has released the guidelines and it is a legal entity, right? Then second disruption which needs to come is that how a doctor will analyze so much of patient data, right? Which you also said. I will say that the machine can do much more, right? But how do you put all that data at one spot where the National Digital Health Mission will come, where everybody is going to have a health card? Your whole history will be linked to your card, like everything in your financials is linked to your PAN card, right? So that again is a disruption which will need innovation. Then many new diagnostics, point of care devices. We saw in COVID times that the test was at 4,500, which has now come to in some states at 450 rupees. वो कैसे हुआ? That all became because we Atmanirbhar Bharat, what we call, right? In our own country, there were so many innovators that they had innovated so much into reagents, into machines in such a short time, right? That we were able to get the test. So diagnostics. Then again, local manufacturing of pharmacy. Vaccines is a big example. We are going to be the biggest exporter of vaccines in the world now, right? The biggest manufacturers of vaccine. Then using all this patient data for predictive analysis. 1 करोड़ भारतीय डायबिटिक हुए, डायबिटिक होने के बाद उनकी HbA1c कहाँ गई, क्या इंटरवेंशंस करने थे, और इनमें से कितनों ने इंटरवेंशन अगर नहीं किए तो वो they will land up in the ICU. All this needs innovation, all this needs entrepreneurship. So I think this is one sector which has been deficient on entrepreneurship, right? I think the biggest entrepreneurship which we know is Pratap C. Reddy sir, who started the corporate hospitals. And then we had people like Dr. Lal, who started the corporatization in the diagnostic sectors. And then it is in home healthcare sector, very in infancy, where we are trying to build a hospital outside the hospital. So large scale e-pharmacies like 1mg, that was a disruption, right? Now teleconsultation with M-Fine, that is a disruption. So huge scope of disruption.
All right, sir. Again, it was a quite insightful answer from your side, so that we can conclude that the future of entrepreneurship in healthcare is very bright. And I must say, sir, it's a kind of privilege today. We got to hear all these things from you, sir. My next question to you is, as you have mentioned, after taking the lead on the supply of hydrochloroquine, India is now on the way to become the coronavirus vaccine hub to save humanity against COVID-19 virus. How do you see the role, leadership, and entrepreneurship of Indian pharmaceuticals firms against COVID-19 pandemic?
Very interesting question, Harsh. हम सारे पैंडेमिक में ये बोलते रहे वैक्सीन आएगी तो चीजें खुलेंगी, वैक्सीन आएगी तो चीजें खुली. अब वैक्सीन आई तो लोग वैक्सीन लगवाने को तैयार नहीं, चीजें वैसे ही खुल गई, राइट? So that's a quite a paradox, right? Even in healthcare workers, the uptake is not more than 50% across the country, right? The healthcare workers who were so much stressed कि PP गर्मियों के दिनों में PP पहन के ड्यूटीज 12-12 घंटे ड्यूटीज कर रहे थे वो लोग, राइट? अब आज वही लोग दे आर बीइंग हेजिटेंट फॉर गेटिंग अ वैक्सीन, एंड दैट आल्सो हेजिटेंसी इज कि कोविशील्ड लगाएंगे कोवैक्सीन लगाएं, राइट? So that's a state, and I think here it is the role of the leadership again, and we have seen Dr. VK Paul, who's the member Health Niti Ayog, led from the front कि मैं लगवा रहा हूँ. Dr. Randeep Guleria, who's the director of AIIMS, he did. Dr. Naresh Trehan did. And I know so many of my hospital heads, doctors, HODs, nursing heads who came forward and said, oh yes, I am getting my second. In my own life, my sister who's in Ludhiana, she got vaccinated on day one. And I was very confident nothing is going to happen. My dad, who's 73 years old, got vaccinated. मैं भी अपनी बारी की इंतजार कर रहा हूँ अभी दिल्ली में. So I think people have to lead by example. People have to propagate कि भाई जब बच्चों को वैक्सीनेशन लगती है तो उसमें भी साइड इफेक्ट्स होते हैं, उसमें भी एडवर्स इवेंट्स होते हैं, उसमें भी डेथ्स होती हैं. There is nothing new which is happening. Even in the influenza vaccine which people take as an adult vaccine, उसमें भी सारी चीजें होती हैं. So why the hue and cry? Why not to celebrate that our entrepreneurs or pharma industries were able to get is that people should appreciate that our entrepreneurs, our pharma companies were able to get out a vaccine at such a speed and with such a safety, right? So we should appreciate that, and I would advise that every one of us should get vaccinated. People are saying कि आधा population vaccinate हो जाएगी, आधी नहीं होगी तो herd immunity आ जाएगी. That is not the scene. We don't even know what is the percentage at which herd immunity is going to happen. What if the herd immunity happens at 90%? Then still 40% of people are not injected, right? So I would suggest that we should appreciate that the vaccine is out. I think government is doing a humongous job in rolling it out with the smooth, such a big country, the way they have been able to do it. And I am ready to take my jab.
Let's say you have, as you have mentioned, that developing a vaccine in such a small time is no small feat, and we have to understand this. Sir, my next question to you is: telemedicine increases patient engagement by helping them maintain checkup appointments and poor schedules. Virtual consultation also make it easier for patients to reach to their physicians, report early warning signs or any health concerns, and follow through their appointments. What are your thoughts on this emerging role of telemedicine towards a holistic digital health ecosystem in India?
So let me tell you a story. 6 years back, we were the pioneers in managing patients in ICU at home. And the biggest question which we had to answer is that how can you get a doctor in each home? It is not possible. अगर आप घर में डॉक्टर लगाने शुरू कर दोगे तो हॉस्पिटल में डॉक्टर ऑलरेडी नहीं, कहां से लगाओगे? And that is why the breakthrough came through telemedicine, where we were able to connect all the 100 beds across the country to a command center where intensivist or ICU specialists were available 24/7 to manage these patients. So we have been using this teleconsultation for last 6 years to treat very critical ill patients, increasing affordability and accessibility. For example, a patient from Delhi going back to Ajmer or Aligarh can be treated at home with the same doctor seeing him through telemedicine. Similarly, accessibility has increased and the cost would go to almost 30% of what that person is paying in the hospital. So that's one thing. Second thing, COVID is an excellent example of the way we have used telemedicine. So when COVID happened, we started with a helpline. अब हेल्पलाइन पे लोग आते थे, क्वेरीज पूछते थे, उनका नेक्स्ट था कि मुझे फीवर हो गया. अब फीवर कोविड से पहले तो आप क्रोसिन खा के खत्म कर लेते थे या नेवर डॉक्टर के पास. अब कहाँ जाओगे, लॉकडाउन है. तो द नेक्स्ट नीड केम इज मुझे डॉक्टर से बात कराओ. डॉक्टर से बात कराई तो डॉक्टर ने बोला आरटीपीसीआर टेस्ट कराओ. सो टेस्ट भी घर पे करना है. टेस्ट की रिपोर्ट आ गई तो मुझे बताओ मैं करूं क्या. तो होम आइसोलेशन प्रोग्राम, ऑल रिमोट मॉनिटर्ड. So we were doing this and we became the largest providers of this with Fortis Healthcare in India and many other patients, doctors, Tatas and all, corporates also. But our biggest breakthrough came when the government of Delhi gave us this project where we were monitoring lakhs of patients on remote monitoring, telemedicine, with one nurse managing 50 patients. So we were able to do the same with government of Karnataka, with government of Punjab, and you don't need people everywhere. People can be anywhere at home. Patient can be anywhere at home. It's only the teleconsultation or telemedicine which is improving all this. And telemedicine is something which is a great disruptor. It makes the people more connected. What we saw was that 40% increase in hospitals OPD happened due to telemedicine. Similarly, follow-up, which is a hesitation. कि यार जाना उठना पड़ेगा, appointment लेनी पड़ेगी, wait करना पड़ेगा, जाना पड़ेगा. That almost doubled because it was so easy to connect to your doctor, like we are connecting today. Otherwise, if you had to get to me a studio, I might would have said कि यार आज नहीं, कल नहीं, फिर देखते हैं. But now it is so easy through technology to connect. So telemedicine and home healthcare hand in hand, which we called phygital disease medicine, physical plus digital, phygital disease management is going to be the way forward.
All right, sir. Again, it was a quite insightful answer from your side. Indeed, sir. Sir, we have seen this COVID telemedicine concept emerge much more during this pandemic. Sir, can we conclude that if 2020 was all about the survival, then 2021 will all about the consciously planning of the future of healthcare, the future of technology, and the future of education, and almost the future of everything?
Of course, yeah, we have our great hopes on the 21st year of the 21st century. We all are looking forward to that change management. The way अब कितनी सारी चीजें change हो गई ना. Nobody goes into cinema halls. OTTs have become the norm. Office लोग पहले जरूरी था जी 9 बजे जाना है, 5:30 बजे से पहले नहीं वापस आना. Right? Office is now optional. Everybody is working from home. Right? Schools, who thought that पूरा एक साल बच्चे जो हैं वो schools में जाएंगे नहीं और पढ़ाई होएगी. Right? So I think the world has changed and must have changed for the good. But again, we should not forget that what brought this pandemic on us. हमने पेंडेमिक में क्या किया? 2 गज की दूरी, मास्क और हाथ धोना. पर ये तो सदियों से हमारी संस्कृति में सिखाया जाता है ना. हमारे अगर वो रामायण और महाभारत भी देखो तो घर के अंदर जाने से पहले वो हाथ पांव धुलाते हैं. राइट? अगर आप अभी भी साउथ इंडियन घरों में जाओ तो वो चप्पल पहन के नहीं जाते हैं, पहले हाथ पांव धोते हैं. ये सारी चीजें इसीलिए थी कि बीमारी घर के अंदर नहीं आए. राइट? So I don't think that pandemic has taught us something new. It has rejuvenated which was already there and it reinforced the same. So definitely 2021 is going to be the bright future.
All right, sir. Again, indeed, it was a quite insightful answer from your side, and I must say the kind of energy you brought into this session was very, very inspiring. And also, I can say that there is a lot to learn from you. But today we are short of time, so we have to wrap up this session at this point of time. Thank you so much, sir, for joining and giving your important time. It was a healthy discussion with you on the topic.
Thank you, Harsh. Thank you for having me on your show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
On the ground is where I stand. Never give up, that was always the plan. It's so cold outside, I'm alone.